Hello and welcome back. I'm Stickmasterluke. Let's keep the ball rolling. So before we make the emerald sword and award it to the player, let's do one quick change in the main game script. I was informed that there's a bug in the place from a few testers of mine, thanks to Lucky Maxer. And the bug was that he told me if the sheriff from the last round that had won resets while in the lobby, they drop the net gun. And so this is a logic error where I forget to clear when the round ends. I forget to set the sheriff to nil, and I forget to set the Bloxxer to nil. So we should do that. So when we teleport him back to the lobby, we sort the game results. After the game results, no, we'll set it right here. After they teleport back to the lobby, we're going to set the Bloxxer to nil, and we're going to set the sheriff to nil. This way, when the sheriff gets blocked, they don't try to drop the net gun because there is no sheriff anymore. So that fixes that. Okay, now back to what we were doing. Again, thanks to Lucky Maxer and whoever helped him find this little bug. First of all, we gotta make the emerald sword, be awesome and emeraldy, and then we gotta make it so that the game script awards it to him. So let's jump right into that. Let's go over to our sword. And what we got from the Roblox Battle official version of the sword is we've gotten all these we got 2 texture IDs and 2 icon IDs. I'm just switching the syntax just because I prefer double quotes. But so we've got a normal texture. So this is just a texture for the sword. And we've got a crystal texture for the sword. And so this is what goes on the mesh. And then we've also got the icon. So if you remember, the icon is what actually is down here. The icon is what shows up in the player's backpack. So that it's the tool that they click on. And it has a little icon of the sword. We're going to change that to the emerald one if they have the emerald sword. So now that we have these, we got to swap these out depending on what sword they have, and we also have to make sure the sword does double damage like we say it does. So to do this, what we're going to do is put a value inside the sword. Is that what we want to do? Yeah. So down here at the bottom of the server script on the sword, the sword script, we're going to write a function called update type. Update sword type. So this emerald sword, we haven't defined it yet, but we're going to put a value inside of the sword. And so when we give the player the sword, we're going to tell them if it's an emerald sword or not. And so if it is an emerald sword, we're setting the tooltip to emerald sword. Emerald sword. So the tooltip itself is a property of tools. See right here it says tooltip is sword. Let's see what the net gun is. We can set the tooltip for net gun and net gun. The tooltip is what it says when you scroll over the tool. So if it's a dragger tool, maybe it'll either say dragger, but if dragger's in the icon, then when you scroll over it, maybe it'll say drag, click and hold to drag parts. So tooltip is just the text that shows up over a tool. And so if instead of displaying like a tip, we're going to display the name, because I think that's more beneficial to the players playing the game. Like what is this icon? Oh, it's the emerald sword. Okay, then we're going to set the handle has a mesh in it. Set that to the crystal texture that we gotten, and then we're also going to set the tool icon. So tool icon is tool dot texture ID. So texture ID of the tool itself is the icon, and the texture ID of the mesh is the texture of what the physical thing in game looks like. So that's why the tool texture ID is equal to the crystal icon. I'm going to copy this, paste it here for if it's a normal sword. If it's a normal sword, we're just going to call it sword. I'm going to set it to the normal texture and the normal icon. So again, this is going to be a value inside the sword. And so when this value changes, we're going to update the sword, or when the script starts, we're going to update the sword type. Okay, so now we have to define this value. Right now there is no value in the sword, so we're going to create a value in the sword. So we're going to insert a bool value. A bool value is a true or false. If I can find it, bool value. So if you look at this value, let's set it to emerald sword. Its value is just a checkbox. Check means it's true, uncheck means it's false. This is just a display, so it's either true or false. By default, it's going to be false. We're going to leave that like that. And so let's define this up at the top of our script. Emerald sword. Okay. Then we're also going to want to change the damage. So right here, we're going to be like this. Let's see. For the damage, we're going to want to make a variable called multiplier, damage multiplier, equals 1. If emerald sword dot value, then damage multiplier is equal to 2. And also, this is in the hit function when you hit something, so we can also make this a little bit cooler by playing the hit sound. So if you notice, we haven't defined the hit sound yet, but if you go into the handle, we have a hit sound that we haven't used for anything. This is actually the crystal sound. So you're going to want its volume to be 0.5 and its pitch to be 1. And so we're going to define this in a second, but we're going to call it play. So when you're using the crystal sword, the emerald sword, it's going to play an awesome sound. It looks like I didn't type in damage multiplier correctly. Damage multiplier. Okay, and then also to make the damage actually multiply, we multiply the end damage by the damage multiplier. So let's define hit sound. Scroll up. Here we have the sounds. So we're just going to put it in here. Hit sound. Okay, so that doubles the damage, and it plays a neat little sound in addition to the normal slashing sound when you hit a player. One thing I do want to change though, while we're in this script, I just want to change how the walk speed works a little bit. So, if I can find it, it's in the tool equip function. So when you unequip it, it sets your walk speed to 16, and when you equip it, instead of doing this, instead of multiplying your current walk speed, because we're having a little bit of issues with this after some testing, we're going to set that to 16. So 16 times speed boost. Okay. So I think that's it for the emerald sword. So if we check emerald sword, it will change the sword to be emerald or not emerald. We can do a quick test of this by doing a play solo and giving us the sword and seeing if it works or not. So if I go into server storage, copy the sword, and paste it into my player's backpack, you can see it shows up right here. If I go to emerald sword and I check that, you can see it just changed to the emerald sword. So that property is working. So the sword is working perfectly. Oh yeah, that's sweet. People will love to buy this for 100 points. And then if you hit someone, it'll make a special sound as well. And it does twice the damage. And again, it gives you this error that data store doesn't exist because data store does not work when you try test solo. Okay, so click reset, we go back. Now we need to make the server script, the main script for the game, change the sword for the Bloxxer. So let's go down to where we define the Bloxxer. Bloxxer equals. Now let's go to where we give them the sword. Here it is. Sword. So when we give them the sword, after we put it in their backpack, we're going to look for the emerald sword value inside of it. I'm not going to do wait for child, find for child. So by default, it's off, then we set it to true. Actually, instead of setting it to true, we're going to want to make sure this player actually owns it first. In fact, this should go after the event as well. So I'm just pasting it here. We want to make sure that this player owns the sword before we give it to him, because right now it just gives it to everybody. So to do this, we're going to go look at their data. To look at their data, we do my data equals like that. Simple as that. So you check to make sure that their data exists, and then you check to see if Emerald Sword is set to 1, which means that they have it. And if it is set to 1, then we set the Emerald Sword value to true. Okay, so that's how we make the Emerald Sword. The Emerald Sword's working and functioning, just as it should. Now, let's do a real quick test. Start server, 3 players. Alright, here we are. I am player 2 and I'm a bystander. Let's switch to, that's player 3, 2. Was there a problem with the server? Nope. Why does this still show up on this guy's screen? You are a bystander. I'm not sure. We should actually get rid of this print statement that we put in from the earlier videos when we were testing, but this should not still be on your screen. So I'm just going to go remove that print statement. It's right here in the seconds to timer. Oh, to test this properly, we're going to want our new players to have lots and lots of points. So how do we give them points to test with? We go into our, not sword script, sorry. Go into our main script, and then when we go to create their data, their default points, it's going to be 100. Alright, now let's do another test with 3 players. Again, we're testing with 3 players because that's how many players the game requires. Alright, I'm player 2. I've been selected as a sheriff. Okay, so everyone starts out with 100 points. This person is going to be the Bloxxer next round for sure. This person I think is a bystander. So player 3 is a bystander, but he has a Bloxxer chance of 10. This guy is the sheriff. If we click on the sword, sweet, this window pops up. Buy for 100, and you can see our points just got subtracted by 100. If we click on this again, it says you own this item. We can close it. Cool. All of our GUI is working great. So if I go to player 1, I think it's player 1. Nope, player 3. No, yeah, player 1. So player 3, I'm going to capture player 1 because he's the Bloxxer. This next round, I'm on player 3 now. This next round, I'll probably be the Bloxxer because I bought Bloxxer chance for 100, or for 10, for 50. Cool. So I just increased my chance of becoming the Bloxxer by 20, which is a lot. So for sure next round, and not for sure, but 20 out of 22 chance I'm gonna be a Bloxxer, and here I am. This is a Bloxxer. Now this person doesn't have the Emerald Sword, so I'm gonna have to have someone else be the Bloxxer. With the other two characters, I bought the sword, so I need them to be the Bloxxer to test that. So hopefully player 1 or player 2 is the Bloxxer next round. Nice. So here I am, player 1, and I have the Emerald Sword just like I should. Because I bought it. Nice, nice. So getting points can take a while. Ooh, that's kind of loud. Maybe we should turn that down a little bit. That's part of testing. Yeah, it's kind of loud. But I did feel it bloxing people a lot quicker, so the damage boost was really helpful. And because points take so long to acquire, we're going to make it so that players can buy points for Robux. So let's go back to our game that we were working on. Here we are. First I want to change the volume of that hit sound because I thought it was pretty loud. So we're going to change the volume from 0.5 to 0.25. And then we're going to hook up. If we go to our main script, we're going to make a pass so that players can, it's called a developer product. That's what we're going to be doing next. So we're going to be making a developer product so that players can buy points. They can buy 100 points for 100 Robux. So where did we... Here we are. In our event, we have this empty space for setting up how to prompt purchase of a developer product. So first we're going to need the marketplace service. So let's go up to the top of our script, define a variable, local market service equals game get service marketplace service. Okay, now let's go back down to where we were. Inside of our event, we're gonna use this line. We're gonna use this line. The marketplace service has a function that you call, and this will prompt a player to buy a developer product. So we actually have to go make a developer product, but I'm gonna write this line first. Prompt product purchase. And this only works for developer products. If you want to prompt them to purchase anything that's not a developer product, developer products are some very specific. But if you want to prompt them to buy something like a shirt, then I think it's just called prompt purchase, and then use the ID of like a shirt. Okay, so the first thing in this function that you're defining is the player that you're prompting to buy something. Next thing is the ID of the product. The next thing after that is whether it's equipped or not, so we say false because it doesn't really make sense for what we're selling. And then this last one, you type in this exactly. It's called enum.currencytype.robux. Okay, so let's go make this product so we can have an ID. So here I am on my developer page. If I go to the place, this is the place I'm working on. So if I go to the place, we can create the developer product by going to configure this place. configure this game. Oh no, wait, sorry. Go back. Configure this place. And right here it has something called developer products. It says you have none, so we're going to create a new one. We're going to call this one plus 100 points. It's going to cost 100 Robux. And I've made some art. I was going to make two, so you could buy 250 points for 200 Robux. But I think just only one purchase is good enough for this game. So I selected that image. And a quick description. Okay, so the title is 100 plus points. And then a quick description, it says, add an extra 100 points to be spent on in-game purchases. And these in-game purchases are going to be either increasing your chance of becoming the Bloxxer next round or buying the Emerald Sword. And then we chose an image and defined a price in Robux. Hit create. And here it is. So these are all the developer products for our game. And it nicely arranges them so you can see everything about them. We're going to select the ID. Copy that. Let's go back to our game. And where we have this ID right here, we plug that in. So that prompts a purchase of it. We need to hook it up so that we know when they purchase. Because when I say prompts a purchase, what I mean is a window will pop up on their screen and it'll say, would you like to buy this item for this much Robux? And they can say yes or no. And we want to listen to when they say yes. And when a purchase goes through successfully. And if it does, then we want to award them their points. So to do this, we're going to make a function. We can call it product purchased. And it's going to take user ID, product ID, is purchased, okay, so this function is going to be called from this event off the marketplace service. The event is called prompt product purchase. Again, this prompt product purchase only works for developer products. If you want to use it for something like t-shirts or anything other than that, like a Game Pass, you'd get rid of the product part. It'd just be prompt purchase. So the full name of it is prompt product purchase finished. And when this event goes off, it calls this function and it hands it the user ID, product ID, is purchased, and is at purchase. So we're going to need, we only care if the product is purchased. So is purchased is a true or false value. So if it's true, then continue. If it's not, then okay, that means nothing to us and we just ignore it. Okay, so we have to find the player because we're only given the user ID. We're not actually given the player. So if we want to award this player points using our award points function, we actually need the player. So we're going to create a function called find player by ID. So this function is just going to go through all of the current players and see which one has this user ID. And again, we're going to check against the ID of the product that we made, the product for 100 points. If we had made the 250 one as well, like if we have multiple products being purchased, multiple products that can be purchased, you'd want to check to see if each one, and this would be the one for 250. So we're going to make sure that this is the one for 100 points. And if it is, then we give them 100 points, simple like that. Now all you need to do is make this function that finds a player based on their user ID. And this is really simple. Function find player by ID. And so there's a function on players called getPlayers that returns a table of all the players, and we're going to iterate through all of the players and see if the player exists and if player.user ID is equal to user ID. And if it is, then we return this player. And if none of these players match that ID, then it returns nil, and then this would be false, and so it wouldn't continue. Sweet. So because we're messing with Roblox, Robux, so this is an actual currency from the website. So this can really mean a lot to your game. You got to make sure this works. So we're going to actually test this one online, because you can't test a product purchase from a server. I mean, from like a generated server. So we're going to actually test this one online. So we're going to close this. Actually, let's do a quick test with 3 players just to make sure that there's no bugs in any of the script. And then we're going to test it online to make sure it fully works and that you can actually purchase it. Okay, so there doesn't seem to be any bugs, and the game seems to be working like it normally should. But to fully test the, you see when I try to click player points, it doesn't give me the prompt because we're not on a real server, and it thinks that these are guest accounts, so we can't use a marketplace service. So yeah, we're going to close these, and we're actually going to test it online with real players. So I'm going to close this, hit save. So I've just saved the game, and now we got to go back to the place. So here's the place. I'm going to hit play. So it's going to start a real server online for us to test the product, and I'm going to buy it myself. So after this works, that should be everything you need to know on how to make an awesome game on Roblox. And I'm sure you could take it further and make a bunch more different kinds of swords that you could buy, maybe kind of system to switch between them. Make a bunch more maps, make different game modes maybe. So we have to wait for 3 players, so I'm just going to hop around. Shouldn't take too long. Uh-oh, there's one problem I noticed. So if I go back to Studio and I hit Edit, I need to do this one quick, because right now, by default, we left it so that when a player first joins the game, they have 100 points. Why would you buy 100 points if you start out with 100 points? So on player entered, if I can find this, we give them 100 points. We set that back to 0. We set it to 100 for testing. We forgot to set it back. So I save that, and I'm going to quickly go to the games, refresh, and shut down all. So it shuts down all the servers so they can update. So here's the player, and you can see I got shut down. And I'm going to go test. So I'm just going to wait for some people to arrive. Here's someone. Now those 100 points of mine had gotten saved. That's why I had to update the place. But I'm going to try purchasing 100 points right now for 100 Robux. Purchase of 100 points complete, okay. And you can see my points had updated to 200. Sweet. And the game started because there's enough people. And it says I'm the bystander, so I didn't get to test. So to make sure I get to test, I'm going to also buy the sword. So I just subtracted 100 points. I'm going to buy this. So next round, hopefully I'll be the Mad Bloxxer. So we're just going to play through this round, and hopefully next round I'll be the Bloxxer. I have a 20 times chance. Oh, it's European cow. He got me. It looks like that other guy was the sheriff. To really make sure... See, the thing about developer products is you can buy them over and over again. So I'm going to buy this a few times. I'm going to make my chance super crazy. So I'm no matter what going to be the Mad Bloxxer next round. 40 times chance. So we're waiting for the current game to play through. You can see them far away. They're tussling. Another feature that you might enjoy trying to make yourself would be a spectating feature. So maybe a button that adjusts your camera to players that are being played. Oh, it looks like the Mad Bloxxer was captured. Now I have a 40 times chance to be the Mad Bloxxer next round. We'll see. That guy's got a cool hat. So let's see if I get the Emerald Sword next round. Oh yeah! I'm the Mad Bloxxer, and you can see my Bloxxer chance return back to 1. And I equip my sword. And I'm wrecking. Oh, he almost netted me. Steamrail is the sheriff. Oh! I'm gonna get him, Oh, I got him. Alright. Now I just gotta... So this is your complete game, and this is me playing it. Just can't let them get the net gun. If they get the net gun, they can net me. European cow's making a run for it. Oh, nope, not my house. Look at him run. The Emerald Sword is super helpful with the double damage. Did I get everyone? Oh no, there's some 2 people over there. Let's go get them. Blocks the last few. Is he going for it? Does he know? Not my house. Look at him. He's on the other side of the window. Let's see if I can hit him through the window. Dang. I'm gonna get him right here. Check this out. Ooh. And there you are. That's how you do it. Thanks for watching. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and I can't wait to see like everyone else's awesome spins on the Mad Bloxxer. So you know what? Have fun with your game. Good luck. And remember, here at Roblox, you make the game.